Hello, my name is Dr. Jennifer Jackson. I'm a registered nurse and I'm an assistant professor in the Faculty of Nursing at the University of Calgary. And I also have a joint appointment in the Faculty of Medicine. So I'm a prof and my background is in safety science and mental health. And I'm really pleased to be working with CFD at the City of Calgary on a study where we are looking at structural things we can do, organizational level things we can do to support your mental health. So I have a family connection to firefighting, and also a good friend of mine has muscular dystrophy, and I know that fire departments around the world have supported muscular dystrophy charities and things for a long time. So I'm really grateful that I can offer something to the firefighting profession and hopefully support you in the really important work that you do. So our goal is to find things that we could do to promote your mental health from an organizational level, with the idea that we can't always predict or control the calls you're going to have in the community, and some of the things there might be really difficult. So we want to make sure that we're not wearing people down with challenges in the organization that we could potentially prevent, so that when you get to these difficult things out in the community, you still have some gas in the tank to try and respond to those and deal with those challenges. So this project came about after some work I did with CFD and the City of Calgary looking at needle bins. So, Hazmat and the Biohazard Service used to pick up needles and empty needle bins across downtown. And it was recommendations from my team that changed this so that they don't have to do it anymore. And now Alpha House is the ones who empty those needles bins downtown. So we had 30 different organizations at the table. We took time to really look into why is needle debris occurring? What can we potentially do about it? How do we balance the needs for clients and also service providers? And it worked really well. I think everybody was really happy with it. And from there, we had a conversation about, okay, well, what is the next piece we could maybe look at, since this was a really successful collaboration. So it was for that reason that we came to this current project with CFD, was just to say, are there other things we can do that may help offset workload or improve the organization to support the mental health of people that are working there. So the current ask is we're asking people to complete a survey. So it's got series of questions. There's a few different kind of chapters in it, and I'll talk through those. And after the survey, we're going to have conversations to follow up to learn more. So the survey starts with questions about your experiences at work, kind of day to day in your organization. Now, we looked at all the international literature and all the research that's been done to see if there were firefighter specific sets of questions, and we could not find any. They currently don't exist. So what we did instead was say, okay, what is the out of the general options for firefight for anyone, for people in any profession, which one would be the best fit? And so the questions we're using have been used in a lot of different settings, everything from like waiters, hotel staff, healthcare professionals, people who work a lot of different kinds of jobs. And so they're not perfect, but they're close. So what I would say, if you're filling out those initial questions, some of them, they fit better perhaps with your thinking about your hall life rather than when you're out on a call. So for example, there's a question that says something like, can I step away from work for a few minutes to deal with a personal issue? So if you are responding to a fire, of course, you're not going to step away from work to deal with a personal issue. But if you were in the hall and you got, a text or something from your partner and they said, hey, our childcare for tomorrow fell through. Can you call grandma and see if we can set something else up, or something along those lines? Could you take 10 minutes to go deal with that and then come back? So I encourage you to think about sometimes. how those questions might apply if you're in the hall, and appreciating that when you're on calls, that's a very specific situation, and so we have to do a little bit of figuring to kind of make it work. However, the purpose of these questions is to give us like a general overview and a look at everything, and it'll show us where there might be some challenges and where there might be things that are going really well. So, for example, we might say, okay, teamwork looks really good. That's something that we want to look into in more detail. We're not expecting the survey to give us all of the answers. It's giving us a broad overview, and then the next parts of the research are what's going to give us the detail. So we've got those questions. Then in the survey, there's questions about um, strategies you use to deal with difficult things. Then the last section is about yourselves. We're asking those questions so we can make sure that we're talking to everybody. So there's a question about what station do you work at most often, and there's a question about what role you have. Now, if you don't want to fill those out, you don't have to. What I want to do is make sure that the recommendations from the survey are not only based on, the opinions of, just as an example, captains at 1 and 2 station. We want to make sure that everybody across the city has had a chance to have input. So that's why we're asking those things. But you can leave it blank if you want. If you're bouncing and you don't have a usual haul, maybe leave it blank, and then you can put some more detail in when you get to the next section. So the next section is open text questions where you can just write in anything that you want. So the first one is what's going well, because we don't only want to look for problems. We want to look at things that are going well and do more of that or spread that. And then from there, create more benefit that way, in addition to saying for the second question, what things are not going as well, what could potentially be changed. There's also a question of anything else you want us to know, anything else you want to tell us about these issues. After that, there's a question where you can put your email address in if you want to enter a draw for some Stampeders tickets over the summer. That's just as an opportunity to say thank you. I'm the only person who will ever see it, and it's only so I can contact you if you win. Then following that, there's an additional question where it said, would you be interested in doing an interview? And you can put your name and email. That will only be used to contact you to set up an interview. And so when I say interview, I don't mean job interviews, skill testing questions, nothing like that. What we want to do is look at the information we get from the survey and then come back to you, because you are the experts, and say, okay, we saw that teamwork is a real strength. Tell us more about that. What is teamwork in your daily life? How is it supported? What about it is good? How could we maybe do more of this? And so we want to learn from you so that we make sure we really understand all the different sides of something before we put together a report with recommendations. So the interview is outside of work on Zoom with myself or one of the other researchers. We just have a one-on-one conversation for about an hour, and that's all it is. So all of it is completely optional. You can do the survey and not do the interview. That's fine. And then if you do put your information in for the interview, we'll contact you once the survey is done. You can also just leave all of that blank, but I can assure you that regardless, all of this information comes directly to the University of Calgary servers, and it's all on our data security protocol. Nothing will ever be seen by CFD, and nothing will ever be seen by the City of Calgary. Ethics is university bread and butter. This is something we take very seriously. And so when we publish our work and share our work later, we will share what we've learned from you, but not identify individual people. So if you want to see what this looks like, you can just Google Scholar Jennifer Jackson. All my previous work is there. You can pull it up. And if you click on the papers, maybe look at the results section, you can see how we talk about things so that we provide information, but we're not singling anybody out. So that's a bit about the survey, and we're hoping to have at least 500 people fill the survey out because this gives more power to our recommendations. If I go to the chief and say 150 people did it, that means something different than if I say 1,200 people did it. So all uniform staff are invited to fill out the survey, and I hope that's something that will land for a lot of people. Our goal is to finish the survey at the end of June. We'll do interviews July, August, September, because I know sometimes people are away for summer or different things. So we want to allow some time for that. And we'll have our preliminary results sometime in the fall. We will share those results. We'll have a curated list of them that I will create because, not everything might work. If somebody wanted, steam rooms in all of the fire halls, well, that might be a great example, but I don't think we can actually action that. But all of the suggestions that come in, we will put them together and provide them to CFD in a report. And from there, there's a working group that will look at making recommendations. So I will be involved in the helping to create recommendations, but ultimately that'll be CFD that's responsible for that. In 2026, we hope that they'll implement some changes. And then 2027, we'll come back and measure again and say, did this work? Did we make positive changes? Did we go in the direction we wanted to go, or did we not hit the mark? And so, I don't want to speak on behalf of anybody, but working with Assistant Deputy Chief Troy Hodgson and his team and other people in management, I know there's a lot of commitment to implementing some of the recommendations as much as is feasible because we want you to have good mental health while you're at work. Everybody shares that goal. And so hopefully we can work towards it. There are going to be like reasonable constraints, we don't have unlimited funds and that kind of thing, but I think there is a very genuine hope to make positive changes. So that's a bit about the study. I guess some of the questions I'm asked are like, is this actually going to go anywhere? And my feeling is yes, I'm committed to doing this, and I'm hopeful that there will be positive outcomes. I know that a lot of different leaders and areas of management and groups like scheduling and the wellness center have all been involved and are all keen to learn from the work that we're doing. And University of Calgary, we're like a neutral third party here. I don't have a horse in this race. I want to see good research and good outcomes. So I can kind of take a step away from micropolitics that exist in every organization and just say, here, this is what I heard, and this is how we could potentially address some of these things. I think it's most of the questions I've been asked. If there's something that you're wondering that I didn't address in this presentation, my email address is on all the stuff for this study, so you can feel free to send me an email anytime. I'm happy to answer questions or have a conversation about it if you want to know more. So I'm going to be visiting every station at least once. We're going to hit stations with more people, maybe more than once, but know that I want to hear from everybody, and all of your views matter, whether you're junior staff just getting started or whether you're somebody that has a lot of expertise and has been with the organization for a while. So thank you, and I hope everything goes well on your next shift. Take care.